Hey everyone, it's Christina from Our Home. Today I'm going to be answering some head covering questions. These questions were posed on my Instagram probably a few months ago, definitely not very recently. I just asked if there was anything you wanted to know about head covering, specifically how I do it or what I believe about it. So I saved those questions on my phone and I thought I would go through and answer those for you here. I apologize if you have been waiting for this video, if you were one of the people that did ask a question. It's just been a long time coming, but here it is now. Keep in mind that this is just my personal experience. Everyone is going to have different opinions about head covering, and I have done a video talking about that before, so if you wanted to see that, it will be linked in the description of this video. It will also be linked at the end of this video. And just one thing before I start, I noticed in my previous head covering video, a lot of people commented that it didn't even look like I was wearing a head covering, which I was and I am now. But from the front, it doesn't really look like it, and that's kind of my intention. I just find this style and the way it sits more comfortable. But like I said, everyone's going to have different opinions. So, first question that was asked. Are you never tired of wearing one every day? So I don't wear a head covering every single day. I was wearing one every time I'd go out of the house back before the pandemic, when I was actually going out and doing things. Right now I still wear one when I go out of the house, and I like to wear one at home just to keep my hair off my face. But I get chronic migraines, so I can't handle any type of pressure on my head during that time. So when I'm in a migraine state, I won't be wearing a head covering. But apart from that, I like wearing one. I find it comfortable and practical because it does keep my hair off my face. The second question that was asked, do you have any videos that you can recommend on putting them on so they stay in place? I don't watch any videos about head covering. I don't watch any tutorials about them, but the way that I put them on is pretty straightforward. A lot of people ask about how to keep them from slipping, so I use bobby pins. I don't know if that shows up very well on camera, but I've got two here, and then I often do a bobby pin here on both sides. I have a video on my Instagram where I talk about, or where I show how I put them on like this, so I can link that in the description as well. Next question. Was head covering common outside Corinth in the early church? Let me first say that I am not a biblical scholar, so anything that I say about this is just my own opinion and what I've learned through my own research. So from what I've read, yes, it was pretty common for women to have had some kind of veiling or covering during biblical times, but at some point women decided they didn't need it anymore. And the Apostle Paul wrote to the church in Corinth admonishing them for having division regarding head coverings. That's my short and simple answer. How did you decide to start wearing them? Like, were there any resources you read? I think I talked about this more in my previous head covering video, but basically I'd been doing a scripture study on another topic, and then I kept coming back to 1 Corinthians 11, as well as verses specifically talking about womanhood. I felt like I needed to refocus my priorities and live a more God-pleasing lifestyle. And for me, that included wearing a head covering. Prior to that, I'd been in some Facebook fashion groups, and some of the ladies there did wear head coverings, and I thought it was interesting. I learned a little bit about why they wore it, and it kind of just stuck with me in the back of my head, but it wasn't something I considered right away. Next question, how much hair should be covered? This is something that I get called out for a lot because I wear my hair down, as you can see, and a lot of people who wear head coverings believe that all the hair should be covered and that it should be worn up. I'm not going to say which is right or wrong. But I will say that scripture doesn't specifically tell us what style of head covering, how much hair should be covered, how much should be uncovered. It doesn't give us those exact terms. So I believe it's a personal choice. What style you wear, how you style your hair when you're wearing it, it's all up to each individual. Somebody else asked me, does wearing a head covering make my head warm and sweaty? Yes. Some of the thicker coverings I have do make my head feel pretty warm in the summer, but I have some lightweight ones like the one I'm wearing now. It's a really thin cotton, so I'll usually wear those in the hotter weather. Or if it's warm enough that I need a hat, and if it's sunny enough that I need a hat, I just won't wear a head covering underneath my hat. The next one, do you do any sports with your hair up? Is it possible to wear a head covering with a bun? I don't do any sports or like working out in a traditional sense. I do a lot of work outside and I do hiking and winter activities. I personally don't like a bun hairstyle because it's just uncomfortable for me. But yes, you can still wear a head covering and wear a bun or pretty much any hairstyle. I prefer to wear my hair in a braid if I'm going to be wearing it up in any way. But yes, you can definitely wear a bun with a head covering. I guess it depends where you put your bun in relation to the size of your head covering. Like this one I have pretty far back on my head, so I couldn't do a bun right up at the top. But I could definitely do like a low bun or a mid-height bun. But yes, you can still wear most hairstyles with a head covering. They might just need to be altered a little bit. And the style of covering you choose might be a little bit more restrictive depending on the hairstyle you want. Somebody else asked me when I started head covering. April 2017. How did your closest people react to this? And the person who asked me this said that their family is against head covering and always makes jokes about it. And I had a pretty good experience with head covering. I don't think my family really noticed very much because the head coverings I wear just look like headbands, or they're pretty subtle if I wear my dark brown ones that match my hair. And if they did notice, nobody said anything. I think if you're in a difficult situation like that where people close to you don't respect your choices, the advice I can give would be to study scripture and practice giving a polite response for when jokes or rude comments are made about your head covering. The Bible doesn't say that we should expect an easy life as believers, but we can at least be prepared with honest and polite answers for when we are challenged. This isn't a question I was asked specifically when I made this Ask Me Anything post, but it's something I'm often asked, and that is, what type of religious beliefs do you subscribe to? Maybe people put it a little bit more eloquently, but basically I'm just asked, what am I? I'm often asked if I'm Mennonite or Amish, Mormon, Catholic. Can't think of the others, but my general answer is I'm just a Christian who believes in head covering. I grew up going to evangelical churches. My husband and I were members of an evangelical church, but we personally don't consider ourselves evangelical. That was just the church we were attending at the time. But I don't define myself by any of those specific types of Christianity. I am often asked if I'm Mennonite, especially when I'm wearing my long dresses, but no, I am not Mennonite. Something else I'm often asked is, where do you find head coverings? I make all my own because it's just easier for me and I can control exactly how they fit. I think part of the reason I was so against head covering when I first learned about it is because I hate any type of pressure on my head. I could never wear hairbands or headbands because of the pressure. So I make all my own, but there's lots of Etsy shops that sell head coverings. I have an Etsy shop that sells head coverings. You can also find simple styles at the dollar store and department stores. I think those are all the questions that were asked of me recently. Well, a while ago. If there's any that I missed or any that you would like me to answer, feel free to let me know in the comments and I can either address it in the comments, or if there's enough questions I can make a second, third video. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Please feel free to look around my channel, and if you like what you see, consider subscribing. Thank you so much.